Hello everyone. I just wanted to make a video for you to kind of go over what my plan is moving forward with our new hybrid learning plan starting on Monday the 5th. Okay, so I've just jotted down a few notes and I'm going to attach this in Google Classroom and make this our first assignment. Your only assignment is to read through this, listen to this video, and then by hitting turn in, you will agree that you have got this information, okay? So it says Miss Coda's, let me make this a little bit bigger here. We will go to here and we'll go to here and make this bigger. Okay. So my plan moving forward. I know that we've done a lot of work already, and I will go through what you have already done, and we'll try to clean up the Google Classroom so that you know where you're at, your parents know where you're at, and I know where you're at. Those are three very important things for us to really stay on top of when we're not seeing each other every day, okay? So one thing that I think will really help us is that all assignments will be turned in on Google Classroom. I know that some of you, when you're in front of me, you prefer to have it on paper, and I get that, and that'll still be available to you. But rather than having you turn in that paper to me physically, we're going to have you now take a picture of it and actually attach it and turn it in on Google Classroom. That way, if your parents are looking on Google Classroom, they see that you've turned it in, your work is right there. You don't have to worry about, okay, did I turn in a paper copy? Should I hit turn in on Google Classroom? It's just a one place for everything, okay? So if you're completing a paper copy of anything, you must take a picture of it and attach it to the assignment on the classroom. This will prevent us from having assignments not turned in digitally because they were turned in the traditional way. I'll no longer be accepting any paper copies, okay? So I think that will alleviate any confusion about where your assignment is or if you're done with it. All right. Second part of that is that all assignments are going to be graded. We are doing standards-based grading right now, but in order for you to have a good idea of where you're at and your parents to have a good idea of where you're at, until we have a bunch of standards in our new program where there's comments and evidence of your learning, I am going to start grading all assignments on Google Classroom with a 1 through a 4. Okay, and here is what those grades mean. 1 is no evidence. Either you've not attempted the assignment or it was done in a way that needs to be completely redone. Okay, so unsatisfactory work. 2, if you get a 2, you're at the beginning stage of understanding. That means that you've shown me that you're getting some of it, but you've got a lot of work to do in order to meet that standard. So if I hand something back with a 2, that is absolutely an invitation to go back in, rework it, and resubmit it. Okay? Same thing with 3. 3 means, gosh, you're almost there. Okay? Take a look at a few more things, and you're going to meet the objective soon. And then a 4 means good to go. You don't need to do any further work on that assignment, and you can move on. Okay, now if you get a 3 and you're okay with that, and you don't want to redo anything, keep in mind that in grading things this way on your Google Classroom, you and your parents will be able to see where you're at. These numbers will then be averaged to figure out where you're at in our actual standards-based grading program. Okay, so let's say I have 10 assignments that have to do for my 6th graders with metrics. Okay, and you've done most of them at a 4. There's a couple at the beginning that were at a 2 because you were just learning about it, right? But now we're a month in and you're now finishing things at a 4. I won't be averaging in those beginning ones. Those won't really play into it, okay? So if you're getting 4s on the bulk of your assignments, you're likely going to meet, okay? And we can meet individually if you have any questions, you know, if you've done your assignments and these numbers are in Google Classroom, and then when you get your standards-based grading program, when we get that up and running, you're showing that you're in progress and you're not quite meeting yet, well, then we can look back at some of these things and where where was it in this assignment that you got a 2 on that you went wrong? And if you and I figure out that you have a better understanding of it now and you don't need any more practice, then we have that conversation. I know that you've met the standard and we can change that grade. Okay? Google Classroom is all in, it's not our grading system. This is just our form of communication of where you're at. Empower is the new grading system. We are in the process of building that. That's where all of your standards-based grading work will be. That is where, we'll be showing you. A lot of teachers used it last year too. But that'll be where you'll go to at the end of a quarter. You'll get printouts of where you fall in the standards in all of your classes. Okay. Students are expected to participate in class daily by accessing materials on Google Classroom. Okay, so just because you're not in front of me doesn't mean that you are not in school. All right. I'll have a more formal weekly plan or roadmap posted throughout our hybrid learning so that you kind of know what is expected of me today, what are we going to be doing tomorrow. Okay, so if I'm at home today, I know I have to finish this part because we're going to be using this to go to this next part. All right, I want to try to prevent you coming in front of me and not being ready to move forward with what we're doing that day. We have to really use our time together really efficiently now, right? Because we don't have as much time together is the reality of it. We've communicated this to you, but Fridays are going to be for individual appointments made by teachers for students to come in. Okay, so I think this will change and evolve as we go through this once we figure out what our needs are. But as for now, no students are actually going to come into the school on a Friday unless they have an appointment with the teacher, and the teacher will set that up and let the office know when to expect you. Okay. If it is just for a block of time, 2 hours, 3 hours, then your transportation will be on you. If you are coming in for a full day, the buses are still running because our elementary schools are still 100% in person. So the bus would then be an option for you. Another part of that is that if we find students that are, it's becoming a habit that they're just not accessing Google Classroom. They're not doing their work. They're not doing their work when they're here. They're not doing their work at home. Then we can then schedule you for a full day of school on a Friday. Okay, so if you keep up with your work and you're accessing what you need to access during the week, that won't apply to you. Okay, there's a good chance that I'll send another video out this weekend. I'll be doing a lot of work to try to make this next week smooth. Okay, we might slow down a little bit. I'd rather have us go into hybrid learning at a slower pace and really figure out how it's all going to work than bombard you with work and have you overwhelmed. All right. So if this week, especially you distance learners that have already been doing this for a while, it seems like the pace has slowed, it has. We're all just going to slow down a little bit and try to make this transition as smooth as possible. And then once we all have it down, then I'll start piling it on. Not really, I won't. I hope that you're all well. I am at school all day today, so if you've got some questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? I hope you're well.